Boy, oh boy, the sound of winter is here, rattling the windows, and the sound of all the wind and the cold air coming in. Welcome to November the 26th, 2025. It is 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and I am delivering messages that I haven't even figured out what to deliver you this evening. It's interesting because TIs go through time periods when they uh, yeah, they go through phases. It's almost like a manic depressive, right? Which is interesting for that, given that diagnosis. Uh, I believe now that I know what targeting is, what organized crime is, what human trafficking is, and mobbing and gang stalking and community based. There's other community based kill program. That's the most honest way I can say it. Once you understand that, you can kind of see how modern day psychology, or what you've always been taught, is a facade. It's a fake shit program, which is falsely misleading. There probably isn't such thing as manic depressive or, bipolar. There probably isn't. It is all in based on perception, based on the way that a targeted individual or targeted survivor is feeling in the moment of being targeted. That's how I see this. Because TIs are survivors. The people who are picked to be on the terrorist watch list, which is really funny because the very perpetrators who are putting us on the terrorist watch list should be there themselves. Most of them are of high grade uh, personality disorders, high grade, uh, uh, oh boy, uh, sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, that variety of people, right? Sadists, the malignant narcissists, whatever. They should be there. They should be, but they're not, because we're not really so Christian like as people think. We're not really the flag that represents great things, are we? So that's just a term to throw in there to, get Big Pharma happy and everybody else who's making money happy, and label somebody something that they're not. Because that is a going back and forth, a kind of cognitive dissonance, a kind of ping pong effect, if you will, of the brain and of the mind and of the uh, what we're being dealt, the situation, if you will, of going from high resiliency and high survival mode to down to the deepest lows, sorrowful, pitiful, helpless, and hopeless um, feelings. And I can assure you, as a targeted survivor, that that is the very case. And when other TIs are in delicate situations where they're feeling the burn of the situation, it is a concentration camp, if you will. That is exactly what it is. So it's not that the person themselves is having a manic episode. It is the very nature of the crime that's being committed against that human being. And in this particular situation that is titled About the Friend, I am referring to V2K, voice to skull technology. It's very sad that people accept a mental health diagnosis in order to survive, just like people in the concentration camps accepted things just to survive. It is this very same scary story, just being orchestrated in a whole different realm, in a whole different atmosphere, in a more nefarious way. So when somebody suffers from this type of abuse, they sometimes feel like they have no choice but to cope in the way that they're being taught and told. Hey, schizophrenia. Hey, psychosis. Hey, paranoid delusional. That's not true. This stuff is really happening to people. And that's not the only way that a person can be targeted by the community, by certain 3-digit agencies. And don't let anybody try to tell you that the 3-digit agencies are innocent. That is the biggest line of bullshit I have ever heard in my entire life. The 3-digit agencies are very much responsible for the lives of human beings and putting them onto a kebab and skewering them over a hot fire. That is the biggest line of BS. People know what they are doing. And some people take the targeting to weird extremes. I had a car today while I was out jogging, and it was a little blue 4-door car that just kept casing the whole neighborhood. And, of course, my positive mind was like, oh, they just probably want to move in and live in this neighborhood since I have probably dropped the ball. And I kind of, it's a nice neighborhood. So they kept driving around. They were about everywhere that I was, and I kept trying to avoid them like the plague. And I did, because sometimes you can outrun 4-door cars that are just driving around aimlessly, probably on drugs or something, just being perp. I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. But anyways, just to go out and exercise every day. And I got to tell you guys, if you are survivors and you are trying to just make it, I would just do that. Just try to go out. It's hard sometimes. It's hard to want to even survive. Sometimes once you know, depending on the depth of your knowledge into this program, you might just not even want to try. But it's worth it, especially on a nice day. Don't let those go past you without having the opportunity. Remember what it was like in the concentration camps during the Hitler era. You wouldn't want to be in that, right? So if you have the freedom to walk about and go about and do your thing, you will learn to survive a few passerbyers who want to take your picture or see you sweat or see you, because just look at it this way, they are doing nothing but driving around like a stupid sociopath in their vehicle, working with white men who are snakes in suits working for the 3-digit agencies. And these are a lot of foreigners driving around me now in this neighborhood while I am out working out. And it is creepy. I mean, it is creepy. I usually don't have a prejudice bone in my body. I really don't. But when you start to see certain groups of people, and God only knows if that's how they're using their little pawns, their puppets, because anybody who is targeting another person is a puppet. You are a puppet for the devil. You are a puppet for whatever agency or whatever provocateur is, causing, is not causing you, but is leading you to astray to do bad, evil deeds. Well, yeah, I'm not even going to waste my energy on you because you're not worth talking about. So, yeah, but anyways, back to the whole friend thing. When, the thing is that TIs need other TIs. And I get it. We're thrown into this land of paranoia where we have to question everybody's motive, everybody we meet, every single situation. We can't take it for granted, and we can't just assume that people are all nice and good, because that's what gets people killed. That's what gets people in dangerous situations. That's what gets people trapped and conned and blah, blah, blah. This is an excellent Thanksgiving message, isn't it? But I want to say that I am very thankful to know that my friend is doing well and okay after a little bit of a scare. TIs should check on other TIs. They should care about other TIs. I realize everybody's situation is different, but trust me, the bad guys capitalize on sin. The bad guys capitalize on wrongdoings. The bad guys capitalize on mistakes or disagreements or injustices or whatever that may be. That is how the devil works. The devil works on those types of situations. That's just how he works. You would have to be born in a barn or, completely living under a rock to not understand this. If you understand anything about spirituality or, about a Christian life or about anything that has ever occurred in the Bible, that is how the devil operates. He doesn't just pick perfect people to pick on. He picks sinners like you and like me. He picks sinners. He picks people who maybe make mistakes or who say the wrong thing. Now, listen, there is a narcissistic aspect here. The narcissist is easily slighted. And that's where you have the bad guy coming in. You understand the narcissist is remorseless. The narcissist is callous. The narcissist is egotistical and shallow. And his ego is fragile. And he is slighted at the smallest little thing. Now, how dare you offend my dog? How dare you do this? How dare you do that? How dare you think that of me? How dare you this? And that person can create a storm from a tiny little slight. Being too sensitive to somebody else's thoughts, feelings, behavior, reaction, whatever it is. But that's their problem, not yours. However, when these are snakes in suits and they're working for three-digit agencies, they're working for the government and the military-industrial complex, and most of them, we know how they're trained. If you've been paying any attention, they are trained to be killers. They are trained to be pathologically sick. And so therefore, that is what you get. You get a recipe for disaster because you're putting people in charge and giving them a license to roll good people under the bus and to leave them in the concentration camp of America, the concentration camp of life. This is how the bad guys work. I hate to tell you, this is how it works. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Nothing on my channel is sugarcoated, and I'm still alive. They could kill me at any moment. They know how to get into my house. They know how to, if they want to poison my eggnog, they could. They very well could. Mm. Once you're at this elite level, I'm not bragging or boasting in any way. And, there are plenty of things that I don't understand about all the technological evils. And honestly, I don't want to know because I have the gist of it. I have gone full circle into all I need to know about these bad guys. I know enough about who they are and what they're doing and how this is being carried out and the whole conglomerated effect of they're going after individual citizens and they're attacking them in silent nefarious ways and they're doing this on a global scale and they're working in union with one another. So the white supremacists who are working for, let's say, Northrop Grumman on the DoD, the three-digit agency. Let's just call it what it is. Sociopath, psychopath, snake in suit, with American flag wearer bearer. Just use some symbols. Let's use that because symbols are everything, and that really means good. And they don't work with any other entities from foreign countries or other the Japs, any other kind of psychopath, right? Of course, the psychopaths don't align with the psychopaths, let's get real. So, yeah, they're all in bed together, which means that it's kind of like this whole third world war, this spiritual war, which is good versus evil. And we're keeping them suppressed. We're keeping them down because they are working and they are working tirelessly. They are trying to still come at us. They're still playing their games. They're still getting their it's just kind of interesting to watch how they get their little people to do stuff. Like every time when I come home, I have like a spying neighbor. And the ones that I've mentioned before, the reason why I haven't been mentioning them is because they've been silent now. They've kind of been playing on the lowdown, and then other people have kind of picked it up. But I'll literally have somebody like looking down my ass when I go to get into my house when I get home from work. But of course, they're really actually fixing their car over and over and over again, or there's always some other reason that they're spying. Besides they get another new girl outside in the back who's looking up into my house with a new dog, new face. I mean, I think this one is witchcraft. So, some sort of witchcraft. You can just see it all over her face. She's got a pretty malicious smile about her, and this is I never yeah, 10 years ago, if you would have asked me to like describe witchcraft or describe it, targeted individual or organized crime, I would have been like, what the hell are you talking about? I would have no idea what you were talking about. That's what's weird is 10 years from now, how many people are actually going to know what a targeted individual is, what gang stalking, mobbing, and organized crime is. Yeah, I mean, just think about this. Well, this is November 26th, 2025. This is the second time I have stated that. Think about it from 10 years from now, 2035. How many people are actually going to understand what all this stuff is that had no clue before? And they might not be targeted. They might not be targeted, but they are going to find out. And it's a really unsettling thing to learn. It's not easy to understand. And for those of you going through it, well, cheers to you because it's definitely not easy. But the other thing that breaks my heart is when TIs judge and criticize and ridicule other TIs. Because the thing is, like I said, the devil uses anything he can as leverage to harm the hair on another person's head, regardless of sin, regardless of, redemption or, you know, confession or whatever. The devil is using it. He's using it as his main tool in his toolbox. And that has caused a lot of problems because I'm a pretty outspoken TI. I mean, I'm a pretty big survivor in the TI community, and I have gone through hell and back as far as not only my knowledge in what's really happening, but my I'm able to very much interpret and have a good intuition and good insight into what's actually going on, as well as having survived some pretty ridiculous, um, extravagant uh, issues as far as advanced technology abuse and human trafficking goes. It's full circle. So I understand. And sometimes I don't want it to be my reality, but it is. And sometimes you just have to let go of people who um, you can't tell whether they're being targeted or if they're being coerced to work against you just to get themselves some leverage in the game. If people are working on them and turning against you, that's a hard thing too. But I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just very thankful that my friend who's a TI is doing well, and I'm thankful for that. And plenty of other things. I have plenty of things to be grateful for and happy about. And yeah, every day is a game of survival in the TI world. It's not easy. But we just have to kind of keep going and do what we do. I had to take a little break from my channel for a little while. But I think I have some things scheduled maybe for tomorrow night. And maybe I'll do a live. And oh, I did think of some more songs I should put on my TI song list. So maybe I'll have to do a second TI song list. Yeah. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Oh, yeah, let me add these. Eric Church, Heart on Fire, and Light 'em Up. Light 'em Up. Who sings that? Who is that? Oh, my brain. Fall Out Boy. Yeah, that's right. I think that's the right song. I think there's a couple of them. Netflix, maybe. Okay, yeah, Fall Out Boy. Yeah, I was right. Okay. But yeah, Eric Church, Heart on Fire, those are good. Okay, I should add those two songs. I just thought of them today and yesterday. I should add those to my top 10. I don't know how it's worded, but I have a video on the 10 kind of TI songs. I mean, the thing is, you either really understand how sinister and how evil these people are, or you don't. And then again, it's all about perception too, right? Like, do you think this stuff is really that nefarious? Yeah. Or do you think it's all justified? You know, is it all for the greater good of a country? Or is that all false flags and facade? You be the judge. You be the judge. Again, I am very grateful for my friend who is doing well, who is a victim of V2K. And I just want to say I'm very grateful for him because he has been there for me anytime I've needed him. And I wouldn't want to lose him. I want him to be able to get past all this, just like the rest of us. I want us to all be able to break through to the new window, to the new opportunities, to the new this, to the new that, and bust forward and be prosperous and outdo the bad guy, to overcome and outdo. Oh, I do have to mention this. So now I'm working on today I was working in a remote area, like off the grid, kind of in the dirt. And what's interesting is I have more and more people popping out when I come and go now. Okay, out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of nowhere, where most people wouldn't even want to trek. I mean, I have some balls, but where most people wouldn't even want to go. And then there's a sheriff car right as I am entering the premise. There's a sheriff's car. Well, I mean, I mumbled something under my breath, or police car, whatever it was. But anyways, that's what it was. It was. I'm just not going to get too specific. But actually, I think it was West Virginia, even though I was in the state of Virginia today, which is interesting. I mean, kind of teetering on the border, but mm, but they don't miss a thing. I mean, they are staying up my ass right into the door in the location. They've got a spy on me everywhere I am, and then down the road, background was the UPS and FedEx together. They were working in sync at the same time, same place. I mean, want to make sure somebody's really babysitting me. I mean, what is this all about, anyways? Like, why are we doing this? Like, I've got to be worth something. I mean, for all these people to be spending all this enormous amount of money and time to follow me around. And then, of course, my fan club, I, the fan club, I want to say a shout out to, they are something else. The people who have no life of their own, who sit around in a parking lot just to watch me pass by like I am in a parade and I'm a super celebrity, which I realize you want to be me. I get it. You might be jealous, and maybe you just don't have the work ethic or the ambitions that I do, or the gusto, or the resiliency, or the attitude, or the energy. Well, shame on you, because you could if you wanted to, but instead you would rather live your life sitting outside the Dollar General out in the middle of nowhere, just watching me pass by in your white SUV, your white Jeep. you, you guys need to get yourselves alive. You have no life. You just need to stop living it through somebody else and just get your own, because this one's already taken. Good night. Thank you for listening.